Welcome back, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is US Comics Cast, HQ for all things comic book connected. We are John and Charlie Rivera, the co-founders of US Comics. Charlie, happy Comic Book Day.
Happy Comic Book Day to you and to everyone listening and watching live. As always, we are brought to you by Bad Mary Band and Sergeant Finesse Gaming. If you haven't done so already, please hit that comment section like there was a ghoul coming for you, and your splatter cannon is a whole lot of ammo.
Ooh, that is a bad day. Charlie, I just got to say this. No preamble, no false nonsense. Oh, what'd you do Tuesday? Oh, what'd you do Wednesday? Whatever. I have to say, now that we're sharing living space,
that's true.
One of the things that I have come to appreciate and enjoy the most is, hey, have you seen this yet? Have you watched this? Did you even hear about that thing or the other? And this is the way that really nothing gets past the defenses. Nothing goes through the 5-hole. We know if there's something great out there, one or the other of us is going to be on it like stink on shit.
It's true.
So nothing gets past us. So I do have to admit that it was actually Charlie who said, "Hey, John, have you watched Fallout yet?" I'm like, what? You mean that amazing video game series that everybody loves everywhere? Have I seen it yet? No, Charlie, I have not. Let's rectify this situation. And we absolutely did. And Charlie, again, I'm not going to bury the lead. We waited a few weeks specifically so that the good folks listening and watching at home
do like a spoiler-free version.
No,
impossible.
It would have been literally impossible to talk about this beauty of a show in a spoiler-free capacity. So we gave all of you Johnny-come-latelys a minute or two to catch up and watch it to its completion of season 1. And Charlie, again, I love it. I know you love it.
It's true. I'm on my 3rd viewing.
That says more about you than anything.
My schedule being wide open.
Oof,
all right.
My goof. But Charlie,
cold-blooded a little bit.
I told myself I wasn't going to do it, but nobody lies to themselves like them. So Charlie, I'm going to have to ask you. Matter of fact, I must ask you a question. Who is the baddest Mamba Jamba, most popular, most meme-worthy cast member of Fallout, the TV series? Why don't you hit that shit?
You know what? Better than hitting that shit, sir? Let's open up the vault, mother sucker! It's Dave!
Oh,
himself!
I'm sorry. I got to be on US.
Leave it to the sensation Lear Leary to show up with props. Lear,
yes, sir.
How the hell are you?
Pretty good. Good to see the both of you again. Goodness gracious!
Lear, it is so good to have you back with us, especially now that he done come up. The overnight success of Mr. Lear.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, Lear.
That's what I said to Jonah Nolan at the wrap party. I said, "This is the big one, kid. This is going to be the one that's going to make me an overnight success after 38 years." And he goes, "You think so?"
It just takes a minute.
Well, I don't want to. First of all, I have to call out.
Set the world on fire. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You said, I don't want to. Go ahead.
If there's any episode to watch the video version, if you're not lucky enough to be with us live here on Facebook, here on the Purple Site Twitch, and on YouTube, you're missing out on a vault dweller rocking the blues and yellows. Because he knows when Vault Tech gives you supplies, you should use those supplies. But more to the point, Lear, you have become my office's favorite meme.
This is
because you have finally answered the question. I don't want to jump right into it, but I feel like I must for my brethren and sisterin at work, which is kind of like being in a vault. On the show,
Yes.
one of the co-stars turns to you and asks, "Hey, how you doing?" And where everyone else on this boring planet would answer, your response on the show is very simply, "I'm doing as terrible as everyone else, and it has taken over my office."
As
like
bad as
you
everybody
read
else was.
about.
Yeah. That's
So thank you so much for being my memeable friend. I gotta tell you, I always suspected it would be you to
oh,
get into
thank
the
you.
meme game first. It's a
Thank you.
powerful mustache. I
No,
feel like
it's
in 2024, there's many weak mustaches. You
Right.
have a strong man stash.
Yeah, it's stash weight. That's what it. That scene, as a matter of fact, was the first day on set.
no
Really?
way.
Yeah, the first time I ever met Jonah Nolan, Moises, the whole crew, the cast, and to give you an example of their attention to detail, I walk out and they hand me the wheelbarrow that I'm pushing down the hallway there, and the
Mhm.
wheelbarrow is full of weapons from the Raiders, and
Mhm.
the attention, the weapons are like welded bicycle sprockets onto the end of a pole,
Oh my
Amazing.
god.
hatchet pieces and stuff like that, and all bloodied and everything. You never really get a chance to see it. Of course, lots of editing, but I'm pushing that down the hall, and Norm is plotting at that point. He's at the Nuka-Cola machine. I should have a Nuka-Cola
Which-
bottle here.
What a dynamic first day.
Yeah.
That again, the Nuka-Cola machine is among the most iconic. Those sort of weapons, those kind of hobbled together. I know I've buried hours in Fallout 4 trying to like put together the best weapon, and I'm a melee weapon man.
Yeah, I've seen you put IKEA furniture.
I watched
together, so that I'm surprised that went as well as it did.
I watched the first few episodes wrong. I'm like, these Raiders are really great main characters. I was
Boy,
just expecting you to kind of join up and roll with them. But I got to ask, so that first day, you are, I almost need to be walked through that whole, we'll start in the middle, I guess. With that first day, you
Right.
show up.
Yeah.
How familiar were you with Fallout? Because Fallout, for those who are not educated, Fallout is now,
It's
without
amongst,
question, it's a
if not
legendary
Yeah.
franchise.
The franchise is absurd, but also don't forget, and Leah, we're gonna let you run away with the mic right now, but viewers should not forget this man's voice. If you close your eyes,
Oh,
which I understand is hard when
Let's do
you're
it together.
gazing upon his visage, this is a voice, a very familiar voice from Silent Hill. So this is not your first foray into the adaptations from video game to something a bit bigger, something more real life. So
Looking at the back.
yeah,
Your,
Charlie asked a good one.
I'm looking at the back of your set there. You don't have RoboCop, do you?
I definitely
the
have
Robo-
RoboCop,
Good. I'm the voice of
I'm not
RoboCop.
which is what made me
Just-
the toy RoboCop, the real talking Robo, was one of the
Yeah.
greatest toys of all time. Especially since
Do
that
you
RoboCop.
have his money? That's the real question.
No, I
That's,
gave him
that's where this
whatever
is
like
all
nickel he
leading.
got for recording, because the helmet came off. That was my jam. That was one of my
Okay.
favorite toys.
Your move, creep. You called for backup.
Uh-oh. Charlie,
Anyway.
wake up.
I'm sorry.
He passed
That's-
out.
My
He
toys
passed
have
out.
come. My toys have come to life.
Yeah,
a la
so-
Toy Story.
Lear, like your
And Galactus.
resume speaks volumes. So
Which
we'll definitely get to that. But yeah, again, Charlie leads with a really good question. What was your familiarity going in, and what was that first day like?
It was amazing because I knew Jonathan Nolan. Jonah Nolan's reputation was Westworld, and
Of course.
some of the other characters there, like Leslie Uggams. I sang her
Amazing.
the Mitch Miller song. She said, "What'd you do? YouTube that?" I said, "No, I've got it in my head. Be kind to your web-footed friends." And then Zach Cherry from Severance and stuff like that. So it was Kid in the Candy Store.
Yeah, it was a stacked deck he walked into.
But I was of course terrified, and I didn't know how I
don't
should
believe
didn't know how to deliver this line. So
Oh.
how's your day going, Davey? As bad as everyone else's. And then I sense that he's up to something, because he's going to help his sister get out. So I gave him a look of like what the hell are you up to? So after about 2 or 3 takes, Jonah pulls me aside and goes, can you give him a little less of a look? I said, I'm sorry, Jonah. I went to the Jim Carrey School of Understatement. I must have been going, what? So I just gave him a slight look. And as I'm wheeling down the hallway, I shook my head like, anyway.
Boy, did that play, man. It played. Woo!
For me, it
for
felt like
life, a meme for life.
it felt like every time I said something stupid to John has walked away from me with a subtle head shake many a time.
After most podcasts, actually.
It's true. At most, that's a very nice way of saying every single one. Lear, being a vault dweller
Yes.
in a Fallout property,
Yeah.
when you were handed your Vault 33 suit and you zip that sumbitch, first and first, mostly, may I compliment you, very tough. As a Ghostbuster by hobby,
you pull it off.
very tough to pull off a onesie.
Oh, a onesie, yeah.
Mine's a twosie. I hide my shit because in case I have to use the bathroom. So the fact that you looked so just jacked,
but so comfortable in it. How was that? How was your first zip up?
Oh, it was great. Well, I went into wardrobe. I guess we want to backspace just a little bit.
Sure.
In the old days, you would hop on the train from Jersey or out on Long Island and go in for your audition, and you'd read the line or the scene, and whoever was running the session would say, "Oh, that's a little angry. Can you back it off a little bit?" So you had a couple of different chances. Unfortunately, after COVID and the way things have evolved, now it's all can you record the scene and send us a tape, send us a file. So we get this request for an audition from a casting director, and everything about Fallout was top secret. They wanted to keep it close to the vest. And to answer your other question, I was not very familiar with Fallout, but my sons are Fallout freaks, and I would walk past their rooms and I'd hear this music. Not only the old music, but the orchestrations, especially the theme that when Lucy reveals the new California Republic, that very, very lush orchestration. I went, oh man, the music in this show, I got to play this game. And I tried playing it here and there, but so they kept everything. So they were under a working title, which was an old Western movie. Like a good scout, I did my homework. I looked up the working title and I found it was like a 1950s John Wayne cowboy movie. So I went, oh, cool. I got the hair, got the mustache. I'm going to be a gunslinger. I'm going to shoot that. Get everything. And then I read the script, and the script was, I can teach the prisoner Shakespeare, and if not Marlowe. And I'm going, what the am I in some weird saloon saying this to a bunch of cowpokes? So recorded it and sent it off, and like 2 weeks later, come on in for a fitting. So I figured, I'm going to get amazing. I'm going to get chaps, and
it was really that fast of a process. Yeah. Holy cow!
And then I get in there, and they come out with
dream.
They come out with the onesie.
Main dream.
And they come out with the onesie and boots and the wristlets and everything like that, and they zippered them up, and this is a weird Western, man. No, so I knew it was in the future at that point. And and it was revealed, but that first day was scary, and but everybody, the props guys, the ads, everybody was just it's such a team. John, from doing plays and things like that, and playing sports and stuff like that. When things are really working, and sports. Did somebody say?
Oh wait, but look at the number, kid. Look at the. I gotta cheat.
Well, you see, I used to be in 33, but I got traded to 32.
Yep.
Spoiler alert.
Unbelievable.
Somebody was making the playoff push. Me thinks that is tremendous. That is
So,
tremendous. I love that
but
so much.
but it was good. They were open to suggestions and interpretations, and you would
Oh,
get
I love that.
you'd get the sides maybe a couple of days beforehand, and
Mhm.
it was good. I mean, it's joyous.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I gotta ask. I don't mean
Go
to
ahead,
cut you
please.
off,
Yeah.
but I'm
I
dying
mean,
to
you're
know.
doing it. But
It's true.
please, like,
But I
kinda
like
Would
with all due
accidental
respect,
stuff. Yeah.
and then
No,
the
no, now
insult
you're
of
good.
just doing the thing.
Now you're good.
This audition, you say to yourself, Western. You show up. It's the future. That's also a little bit the past in the very best way. When did it become evident to you the scope of this? This has been, it's not an adaptation. The thing I love about the Fallout series, and
It's like
something that they did so brave.
It's like another chapter within the existing.
Exactly right. And
the canon of Fallout.
Right.
This is just like its own offshoot,
And
and it's perfect.
for the
It is
three
perfect.
for the three people who like fucked up their life priorities and is somehow seeing this before binging
shame on
Fallout
you.
a couple times
Shame on
through, there hasn't been an adaptation like this since The Last of Us.
Yeah,
Like The
Really.
Last of Us is scope, but The Last of Us is a reinterpretation to be a
Right.
piece of the overarching
Yeah.
story. All the Fallout games and the show
Right.
are one giant world that we're seeing chapters
so
of.
the Fallout show, my take on it, is not retelling us anything.
Correct, absolutely
if we
not.
play the game or really experience the game in any capacity,
This happens years after New
canon,
Vegas.
Yeah, that canon. This is all new. I mean, it's all new, but familiar because we know the world that
Yeah.
exists in. I wanted to ask you this.
Well, let me
Lear.
get. I'm so
that wasn't it?
no.
Yes, yes.
So
Oh,
my
It
question
was a
is,
half an hour
when
later, so I
did it-
assume.
Yes.
when did it become so clear? Like, when did you realize?
Oh,
Was it looking around at this next generation of megastars that you were suited and booted with? I mean, Moses and Ella just reek of star power. Was
Yeah.
it being in that set? How much of that set was tangible? What was the moment?
What are your co-star credits? Like, you're on a first name basis with
Well,
these people?
you know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to become best
See what I gotta
friends.
deal with?
I'm trying to become best friends with everybody. Was there a singular moment, or was this like all the other projects for you? Did it feel bigger? Did it feel like, oh, we're taking a shot at something that is going to be talked about forever, potentially?
Right.
You know, Fallout's decades and decades deep now. Or so that's really the question. Did this feel like a massive project? Did it feel like just another project? Or was there a moment where you're like, oh crap, they've built a section of this vault. I don't know how much green screen it was versus practical. But like you said, those weapons filled. You know, there was Nuka-Cola machines. What was the
So
moment?
please, please, there.
I can remember the exact moment is when I walked onto that set. It's an entire vault built into this building
Oh my
in
God.
Brooklyn. It's and the
They shot that in
attention
Brooklyn.
and Bethpage.
Ah,
I don't
That
know
is
if I'm
amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
actually surprised that there wasn't already a vault in Brooklyn. Kind of
Well,
knowing
prisoner-
the situation.
no,
That is tremendous. That was
you
all
look at it,
real?
you can see down the hallway, and they're just hallways and rooms, and then the room where we have our meetings, where we're growing corn and things like that. It's a massive set. The attention to detail on the walls. You can see little rust marks on the bolt heads, even though they're not even really bolt heads. And the
crazy.
I beams that are, polyurethane and plywood. I mean, it was remarkable. That was remarkable. And then having,
it sounds like it's completely immersive. So that must have been so much fun to play on.
Yeah.
you're on the outside.
Made it that much easier.
This is the first time I've ever had a chair on set. So I'm sitting in my chair, and then they call for the first team, and we go. Then you walk out, and it's like, whoa, and you're just there. It's just there. And on some of the sets, some of the days we've had 60 some odd extras, like for the wedding and for the fight scene,
Mhm.
reception, and
Wow.
it's just remarkable. And it shows you how big a fan Jonah was, and Graham and Geneva, the writers. They wanted to make sure everything was perfect. Like you said, it it's not exactly it's not even exactly it's not even a story that's in the Fallout universe, but everything else, the Pip Boys, the the everything, just the
Like
just
you say,
the bulkheads.
the level of detail that is that as a viewer, in like a nanosecond, that you catch as something is happening, somebody's running across, there's a fight going on, something very funny is happening, a vote, this and the other thing. What you catch, and that's the reason why the binge is so powerful, I think, nowadays, because as you go back and watch it a second time and a third time, you,
Right,
oh, like a good book, right? You go back to a good book, you give it a good reread rather, and you're picking up new things that you did not catch the first time, and something so detail rich. And I'm talking about even character work, so it's so detail rich, that you're always catching something new.
right.
How many times have you watched it at this point?
Three, and
My
and
man.
like you say, you pick another gem out of the mine. All of a sudden, you'll see something in the background. Um,
Absolutely.
I'll just follow up on the audition. Uh, I read my line about Shakespeare and Marlowe and stuff, and then my wife was my reader, so she's off camera, and she's feeding me the line. Then she has a reaction line, and you film that too because the casting director wants to see how you respond to other
Right.
people speak. So I'm listening to her going, "What? You're going to try and teach them Shakespeare? These are prisoners. They murdered people. They're actual killers." I mean, and she really got into it. "Oh, they're murderers,"
Of
and
course.
I went, "Oh my!" And supposedly it was an ad,
Oh,
just stuck that on the end, and supposedly that showed them that I had, I guess, some humanity or something.
I
So
love
for this
that.
Amazing.
I love that.
Davy,
And also that's the, what do they say? Always look for you, even if it's a tiny 1%. There's at least 1% of us in any character that we're
right,
portraying. And Lear, it is so blatant and so right there. The faces as I'm watching them play out in these scenes, I'm like, I've seen that face in real life. Somebody
right,
checking an Islander game, or score, or who's not off book. It was so enjoyable to see your friend enjoying the moment like you were. It looked like you were enjoying to the very last drop, every
I mean,
moment that you were
how could you not?
on screen. It was such a pleasure.
It's a thrill
So
getting
so
the
good.
emails and texts from people going, "Is that you?" They didn't know. I didn't put it on.
Right.
I didn't put it on Facebook or anything like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, but good. And my first day there, I didn't know who Moises and Ella were. I thought they were just some nice people on set, and Moises goes, "Well, Hannah Montana, or did you ever see me with dreadlocks?" I said, "No, I'm sorry." And then and Eldest, she's very British, you see, and you hear her voice, her real voice.
Right.
And so she was perfectly lovely, and Kyle MacLachlan was there the first day too. So it was great. I mean, like you say, it was like
That's so good to
walking out
hear.
there.
It's so good to hear, because it's unfortunate, and I don't know why it is that people tend to kind of gravitate towards a more, like, a story with a negative spin. It's so good to hear that everybody was just like the type of people you'd want to be, vaulted up with,
Yeah.
so to speak. These
Yeah.
good company, and I'm sure they felt exactly the same way. That's
The
Now,
so
only negative
good.
thing was that Roddy, who plays Reg, he has a neck
Mhm.
brace because he gets injured in the raid. And by
yes.
the
Right.
way, that raid, those stunt people, the stunt woman, uh, they're crazy. They're wild. I mean, they're
They
amazing
absolutely are
athletes.
crazy, these people.
but they doing spins and flips and jumping off of picnic tables, and they're so muscular and strong. They're like dancers.
They're superheroes. They're
Yeah.
superheroes.
Dancers with a little bit of being able to portray violence. Roddy, the fellow who had the neck brace, the only bad thing about the whole set and the cast and the crew is he's a Ranger fan. So except for don't got.
We all
I'm
have
gonna-
our
Well,
faults,
we're
man.
actually having him on next week. It's funny that you mentioned it.
Oh well, maybe he got too much radiation.
that must have been just like something to behold. So with those type of scenes in particular, are you guys basically like the equivalent of in the house watching everybody else play out, or are you waiting for your next call? When's the first time that you saw some of those antics play out?
It all depends on what they were shooting that day. Each day, of course, had a schedule, and
Right.
you knew that okay, the next day we're going to do the actual reception before the violence breaks out. Then we're going to do we did the actual marriage ceremony, and I can tell you just a quick story. Davey's not married. We don't know that backstory yet, hopefully. So I'm at the reception and we're eating cram. I said, where are the Twinkies? Didn't they survive the Holocaust? But they said no. So we're eating all there on the picnic tables, and Lucy says, "All right, everybody, come on up and dance." It's the bride after dancing with the father. Everybody fill the dance floor. So I said, "Jonah, I don't have anybody to dance with." He said, "Oh, ask anybody to dance." So there's this very attractive extra person, and so I said, "You and me?" And she's very demure, very, very quiet. She said yes, very, very tall. So we're dancing, and I could sense they had a track behind me. So I said, you know what, Alexa, when I feel that the camera is directly behind me, I'm going to turn you so that your face is facing the camera, so your mom can say, "Oh my God, I saw you on the show."
Absolutely. See, it's a relationship that paid dividends right away.
So we're dancing, and I said, "Well, the only bad thing is my wife's going to say, who's that skinny little thing you're dancing with?" And without missing a beat, and this perfectly composed young woman turned to me and she said, "Well, you tell your wife that I'm the bitch that's going to put her clothes in your closet." I went, "Whoa,
wow!"
That went very fast."
So I suspect that may have been an undercover. It may not have actually been a vault dweller. Maybe
So
a raider in disguise.
So the next day, we're walking towards the set. I walk out of my trailer and she's walking down the road towards the set, and she's got a long face on. And I go, "Well, Lexi, what's the matter?" She goes, and she turns around, and her back, she's got part of her spine sticking out of her jumpsuit.
Oh no!
Some of her intestines. Yeah, she gets eviscerated in the raid.
Oh
so,
no!
Yeah, so see ya.
That's
Poor
amazing. Well, I mean,
poor Davy's back on the market.
I mean, your wife had some pulse. She's up in the
Can you
wasteland
imagine?
making a call. She's like,
Right.
Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I gotta talk to somebody over there.
Yeah, Mr. Handy, Mr. Handy, eviscerate her immediately. Heck with the sternum.
Our good friend Christian, co-host of the Jay and Silent Bob Secret Stash podcast, he has a great question for you. Was there a super complicated setup for a stunt that maybe only went by in a blink of an eye?
Oh,
Maybe
goodness.
something that when you filmed it, you were like, "Oh, it's a half-day setup because we're gonna light Pete on fire," and then when the show rolls out, it's like, "I think that's Pete in the background."
Pete on fire is like the easiest.
Exactly. Like he's the reason the corn goes up. Was there something that you were expecting to?
Pete is why it all turned into popcorn.
Exactly. Was there something that sticks out as like, "Oh my God, we spent 3 days to do this one moment"?
Yeah, and then like when Cedric gets impaled, he's the minister at the ceremony. He gets pinned to the wall. That took some time, but I have to tell you, the major intense fighting scenes are qualified people only. The rest of us non-trained people. I know, John, you and I have done broadsword before,
I mean,
but
yes, you can
yeah,
handle a sword,
but never fists.
That would stick out a bit in Fallout, just two giant broadswords in the background.
The flying fists and flying bodies were all choreographed without us lamey flat-footed people around. So I didn't get to see,
Rookies.
but I know that they were intense. I think there were 2 or 3 days worth of just that reception mayhem.
Wow.
With the guy jumping up on the table and
Right.
the woman flying through the air and landing. So I don't know if that was his name Chris. Sorry, Chris. I don't know.
Buddy, Christian.
Christian.
I think that's an amazing
hell of a
answer
podcast
because that scene is tremendous. Hell of a writer too, Christian.
Yeah.
Christian is.
You have to flirt with the guy.
I do, man.
He's right.
He's putting me in his pictures.
You can do better, Christian.
Yeah, but maybe like we get him to write a Fallout spinoff.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Suddenly there's another chubby vault dweller. We can go places. Follow-up question. I'm just dying to know. I did see that Pip-Boy. I'm not sure if that's one of your kids' replicas.
Yeah.
I'm not going to open up the bag of worms of if something left set with you. But in the hypothetical world where you could have taken any piece of any prop, if you were able to take one out of the wasteland, take one out of either vault, what do you think you'd want to walk away with?
Okay, I know we said that this is going to be spoiler full.
Yeah.
But we have yet to see. We have really yet to see the further adventures of. So I'm going to redirect. Let's say specifically Vault 33. If something could follow you home, what would it have been?
From Vault 33, my immediate reaction was, I'd love to have that suit, not only for Halloween, but for lounging around the house. Answer the door.
That is a 3 p.m. on a Thursday outfit if you have access to it.
And if you notice the little, I guess it's, I don't know what it is supposed to be.
In my head, it's always like a heart monitor. I think that's what tells the Pip-Boy your stats. That's what lives in my brain.
That's where our lavaliers were. He clicks them right in there. It was made it a little easier made it a little bit easier for the sound guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he handed out these stickers.
Love it.
Yeah, he was great. He was great, and he had to put up with me because I've got theater voice and like Norm. Norm spoke very quietly.
Yes.
I'm sorry to upset you, Overseer.
Oh,
I'm sitting there going,
to the surface? Are you crazy? Come back here right away.
Oh, that's tremendous.
So the sound guy is probably riding faders crazy.
All over it.
But Christian, no, they keep us non-talented physical people out of the way of the guys and gals who really know what they're doing.
Which I'm sure is not only it's for the best. That would be one of those things I would really have to feign disappointment. Oh no, I don't get to be thwapped by a rubber knife.
But I was really ready.
Well,
you haven't seen Lear on ice skates.
That's true.
I was just going to say, my mother embroidered something that's on my bedroom wall. Is that hitting a man without skates on is uncivilized. So they didn't.
That is painfully accurate. That's very accurate. I absolutely love it. So you know what? It's again, just not to stay in the vault, which was kind of the whole plot of it.
Waka waka.
So that's all tangible. So everything we see, there is no CGI in the vault scenarios.
This is the philosophy of Jonah and Lisa Joy, Geneva and Graham. As little of that stuff as possible. When you walk in,
my ears.
Yeah, no, when you walked into the big vault, when we're leaving, going through the door, when Lucy's leaving for the first time, with the bright light, it's the first time we've seen sunlight. What is it? LCDs, liquid crystal displays. It wasn't even green screen. It was just
that's
all of the
great.
upper part of the. I'm going. Oh my God! Did they paint that? I'm looking at it. Like it's as little as
Unbelievable.
possible. Yes, there was some green screen with the background of Nebraska or Wyoming or whatever they wanted to give
Of
you the feel that
course.
you're on the farm, and so that also the film that was on a loop can break and burn, and then please stand by. That they wanted that, but otherwise, no. Very very little, and I think a few things with the Brotherhood of Steel, but no, they didn't want to do that. I mean, let's if we can't do it,
God
then
bless them.
let's figure out a way to do it. So
They are doing God's work.
There's something so crazy too about the fact that all of this has lived predominantly because they've done Fallout books, they've done Fallout comics, they've done Fallout Fallout the telenovela.
Telenovela.
Thank you. Sorry, I really
Nice.
stammered on what could have been.
Give me a Puerto Rican
That's it.
card.
There you go.
Revoking it for
What's
a few
amazing
minutes.
is taking all of these digital goods and making them tangible. And again, I know you didn't really get to go out into the wasteland yet, at least. I'm hoping the further adventure. I mean,
You never know.
Cowboy and Cowboy Crime. I mean, the ghoul might need a vault sidekick. There's something about the fact that Lucy's gun, which is already so iconic, for the update on Fallout 4, they added her gun to the game.
that's
So,
great.
so now it's the first time that you guys took all the Nuka-Cola bottles you could find and made them real. You made the vaults real. And now we're taking real stuff and digitizing it. It just exploded my brain. I mean, again, Christian brings up a great point. I'm not sure how much downtime there was to get into everyone's background, but when you kind of were going back and forth with your castmates, were there any video game nerds in general? Was there anyone who kind of knew your character from Silent Hill? Because I know Christian probably would have geeked out like I did the first time I learned that. Because
No,
I had a very
I can only imagine, and I haven't never had the privilege. Likely never will. But when you're casting something that's so cast rich, I can
Yeah.
only assume that the IMDb, checkout of your neighbors must be immediate. It must be immediate. Like a little bit of a
because I grew up on Hannah Montana, so I would have been like, eh. I've been pulling the Leo meme the whole time.
well, some guys are. I mean, certainly the newbies like me. I dove right in and said, where should I know this guy from? I'm sure
Right.
I'm sure Walton Goggins did not look me up. And unfortunately, we never crisscrossed. Unfortunately,
Really.
yeah, it's we'd see some of the dailies like when Maximus is in the water, and I'm going, oh my God, if he fell over, he would drown. But it's not all the steel. But I was nervous for that. And then when they went down to Namibia, one of the ADs goes, Leroy, did you go to Africa? I said, no, this old abandoned diamond mine that they went and they shot a lot of the exterior stuff. You've probably seen it on Explained or remember there was a show on one of the upper channels, Abandoned, Mysteries of the Abandoned.
I've never seen that episode.
My YouTube algorithm is like, you want to know some weird stuff about movies?
Don't you watch?
Well, I can either be a movie nerd
you gotta
or
get out
not
more.
a nerd at all.
I know.
Anyway.
We got to take away your Wi-Fi access in the bathroom. That's
So I was fascinated.
Research there.
I was fascinated by this town called Kolmanskopf. The Germans had a little section of Africa. Of course, they were settlers, just like they wanted a copy of the Dutch and the Italians and the Spaniards. So they settled this one section of South Africa, and one guy was there, I guess, looking for minerals of some kind, and he found a diamond. So they go, whoa! So they built this diamond mine in the middle of absolute nowhere on the west coast of Africa, South Africa. pulling tons and tons of diamonds out of it. So much so they built an entire village with a saloon and a theater, and this it was thriving all during the early 1900s, the 19 teens, and then the great one, the big one, WW1, got in the way, and our German brothers withdrew ever so slightly, and then diamonds were discovered further south, and they abandoned this town, just left it. So when you see in the scene where the other ghoul is talking with our ghoul, Walton, and Walton puts him out of his misery, and you see the sand coming in the window, and especially when Dr. Feelgood comes in and gives Johnny Pemberton the go juice, you see the sand coming in the windows and in the doorway. That's all real. They didn't truck that in.
No way.
Because the village has gone fallow. I mean, the last guy left there in the early 50s. So the sand has just been blowing. You know, the shoreline has moved out so much that there's a ship basically inland. So that's it. They went down and they filmed it.
When they were scouting locations, they must have just been like,
Yes,
we gotta find a side quest, because that's that for me.
Dear Ghoul.
Yeah.
Weirdest, saddest, most desolate places in the world.
So that's perfect.
There is something so amazing that Fallout allows, because again, it's already been announced. Smash hit on Amazon Prime.
I mean, just
sitting very comfortably.
The level of congratulations cannot be expressed. It's just absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't think that I had completed my first through watch before we got the big announcement. For season 2.
We have season, and with season 2,
God, I love them.
One of the things I love about the first season, side quests, and I have to see more of this new vault. Well, that's like, just as a consumer,
Lear, correct my man if he's not understanding the value of comprehension of story. Lear and I are talking and whatnot. He's talking about.
I thought you were about to say like Lear and I are artists. Be like, bitch.
Lear and I understand the value. You can't introduce. You cannot. So I know that I hold no sway with the good people over at Amazon, other than my yearly donation. You cannot tease the people. This face, you can't tease these eyes with this brand new experience in Vault 32 and not see it through. I have to know what's going on, my man. Davey, I have to know.
They have to address Vault 31, and those vaults are connected. So
that's a good.
Got a bad water chip.
I can see.
Which is like such a classic problem. It made me very happy.
Just say it already. I can see maybe political aspirations of Davey's future. I can see.
He ran for overseer.
Session.
He ran for overseer and he lost to McLean.
Which I thought was like, I don't know if it was the intention of the show or if it's just me like adding to it. But the minute that he was out of the picture, Davey was like, "Hi, everybody. Who needs help with what? I'll take the wheelbarrow." Like, just from a character standpoint, like my read of it was like, this motherfucker's trying to adopt a daughter and a son. He's like, I'm gonna slide right in.
And also, Davey has.
Davey's a doer. Is a great poster for running for overseer.
They can co-opt the vote poster. But Davey's also, he has seen out the great gear. He has seen what's out there. So, I mean, we might also get some kind of are we gonna see a fire be lit in Davey, or we're gonna see a new chapter for Davey? I can't wait.
He also degraded, like, again, not to overtly kiss your ass. What a great reaction! What a great reaction to the new vault. Like, oh, thank God! Like, just like fuck this.
Oh, so good.
I'm so sick of corn.
So
give me a potato, for Christ's sake.
That was a hat trick.
Yeah, it really was. I absolutely loved it, and
we filmed it both ways. At that, Jonah awesome. Jonah was off filming a remote thing there, so they called in a slacker, Claire Kilner from Game of Thrones, So
just whoever's lying around.
yeah, and she's
Disney said that day.
perfectly lovely. So
Amazing.
she goes, Leah, you're watching like a Mutual of Omaha TV show. They didn't show that. It's the whole segment was about 4 or 5 minutes. I'm watching this black and white animal nature show while I'm ironing. And then you get the message that you've been reassigned. So I said, okay. So I said, well, should I be, should I be upset or should I be happy? And she goes, let's film it both ways. So I didn't know which one they're going to use until yes. So
it's just the tone of the show. Everyone who went into that project either was able to execute the vision perfectly or were the progenitors of that vision. It just in a world where that's not always the case.
Yeah.
In a world where adaptations and extra chapters, sometimes they kind of force their vision onto the property they have access to. This is through and through Fallout in the very best way. And they never go against.
No.
You and I kind of had a couple episodes on last night.
It never doesn't feel like you're in that Fallout universe.
World.
Yeah. Not once.
But
once. Even the flashbacks.
Very much so.
You're like, oh, you know what's coming right now.
Yeah, with the old TVs and the Radiation King appliances.
Good. So good.
Well, supposedly, according to Todd Howard, people have been wooing him for years. Let me make a show out of this. Let me make a movie. Let me do that. And then Jonah Nolan sat down with him, and Jonah Nolan is such a Fallout freak. I think he said he lost, I can't remember if he said he lost 80 days or 80 hours of his life in one sitting to Fallout 3. But the two of them hit it off, and it's like Todd Howard trusted him and his attention to detail, and there was a Bethesda chair on set every day too, so everything was
amazing.
It was just working beautifully. It was like just a machine, and it was like cogs,
which is perfectly appropriate.
That big cog when Lucy goes out, that's like 50-foot thing, and
wow.
Cut back to one. They've got to redo it, so they got to put more dust in the top cogs. They got to get a 50-foot ladder and
worth it.
These guys are like, all right, this is a good cut already.
Yeah,
good take.
Too many times, either an adaptation happens collectively with a group of people who are just like, oh, this will make money or this will be successful, whatever their definition of the term is. Then there are those that adapt a project that they are personally passionate about, and those two things you can distinguish between them so easily. If someone's coming to a project as and they're in love with the project, they're not trying to mess it up.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not trying to tell you about the best grilled cheese in the world I've ever had and then make you a bad grilled cheese on purpose. It's just been great. It's just been great because look, at this point, anyone who tells you that Fallout is not one of the absolute best, if not the best, video game adaptation that we have gotten to this date, they're one thing and one thing only, Charlie. What is it?
I think it's a liar. And it reminds me of someone who needs a beard to try to make up for a chin.
Oh, yeah.
Because we all know Lucas is the biggest liar around.
Lucas, you liar.
Why? No. Han shot first.
Woo. This is just the alcoholic's favorite part of the show. Knock it back, baby. I salute.
Put some hair on your vault.
Too much of that put hair on your lip.
Spinning it. Oh no!
Before we get to a few more questions.
Yeah, no, we have so many more questions.
What do you guys feel about?
I hope the chair you're in is comfy.
Yeah. What do you guys feel about a quick little game? I prepared for
I
us.
love games.
You up for a game, Lear? A little
Okay.
little Fallout action.
All right. I
Very
hope I
simple.
do. Okay.
That mustache has not backed down from a single challenge
That's
as
right.
long as it has sprouted.
That's a good, and I think that'll serve you well.
I used to put
I'm putting for the
used to put Vaseline
you
on
say?
my eyebrows so that the fist would bounce off, but go.
nice.
It's an old trick.
So
Boy.
for those of you watching live, I have thrown up the known vaults in the Fallout universe. I of course have excluded the ones Lear definitely knows about.
Your geekiness.
Very, very simple. Those of you at home can play as well. Feel free to throw it in the chat and I will reveal your fate. Just to give Lear an idea of the evil fates to come. Congratulations, boys. You have been invited into a vault of your choice.
I'm going. I am
get to
going.
be with that 1%. John,
Oof.
of the vaults on the screen,
Yes.
any number. Also, you can just pick a random number, and I'll get to the closest vault if the font is too small. John, pick your vault, and I will tell you your fate.
What I'm in for?
To give you guys an example, I will take the first bullet. I will go.
This is unfair already. You know all the
I
vaults.
will go. I know it's totally random, my selection.
Lord,
I'm going to go to vault 69. There's 1,000 people in my vault, but it turns out I'm the only guy. So it's 999 women in this lovely, fully stocked vault.
Excuse me. Be more specific. There's 999 disappointed women.
You know, John, a long enough timeline, disappointment turns into just general acceptance. So I'm going to vault 69. I hate to tell you, boys, the vault rule is there can only be one guy, and it's me. So you cannot pick vault 69.
Sorry,
viewers, you also can't pick. So John,
sorry, ladies.
Sorry, Charlie. There's no seeing eye dogs allowed in the vault. So you're,
fair enough.
Or dogs of it. Heartbreaking, by the way.
Yeah, no, I figured out. I'd find a way to get Jameson in there.
Smuggle him in.
Blind women.
John,
what?
Choose your
all right. Only because I don't ever want to be accused of ass kissing Lear too much, I will take 11. Mark Messier's namesake.
Very nice.
Vault 11.
Wow.
So this is in the Mojave Wasteland.
Of course it is.
This vault was a vault designed to test obedience to authority and the ethics of a large group of people subjected to extraordinary circumstances.
That sounds like my real life. I don't have to go to a vault for that.
The vault dwellers, including one John Rivera, were informed that a single person must sacrifice their life each year for the vault. Otherwise, the master computer would shut down all life support. The occupants of this vault, John, they went on to decide that they would elect the leader of their vault would have a 1-year term, and at the end of the term would be sacrificed.
I chose the Joe versus the volcano vault.
You did, and I hate to break it to you, the vault did wind up failing because it got to the point where they started kind of manipulating the system to get rid of political adversaries. Eventually realizing it was rigged, they decide basically to fight each other. So there was about a handful of people left, and then they decided no more killing, and the vault congratulated them on their high morality. The vault door opens, and because they were so distraught that they could have all lived happily, all but one vault dweller kills themselves. So, John, let's assume you're the vault dweller. Welcome to the wasteland.
Joe versus volcano and Seppuku vault.
It is Seppuku vault.
Terrible.
Yep, it is.
I've chosen poorly.
Not a great choice.
Not a great choice.
Lear, no pressure, my friend. But I want to go ahead and have you choose
of the lottery, also with
vaults.
Yes, 100%.
Shirley Jackson.
100%.
I was going to choose Vault 4, but they have a pretty nice ceremony there towards the end.
They did.
I'm going to go. I think I'm between 76 and 111. Which one do you?
Let's take a. You know what? You're a very special guest, and actually you landed on the Fallout 3 vault for Vault 76. This is a control vault that was intended to open and recolonize Appalachia. After 25 years, it was designed as the official vault of the Tricentennial by Vaultec, our good friends at Vaultec.
That's what I thought.
The vault opened exactly 25 years after the Great War on October 23rd, 2102, in the day known as Reclamation Day. So, Lear, you chose wisely. But
Yeah.
since you are a celebrity, my friend, they threw you right back in the vault. And let's see what your fate is for Vault 111.
Vault 111.
Vault 111 is the vault from Fallout 4. This is in Concord, Massachusetts. A portion rather of the occupants were frozen cryogenically, while another portion remained unfrozen. The unfrozen were the scientists, security, and other staff to keep those cryopods operational. The experiment was to observe the long-term effects of suspended animation on an underwear human. However, a revolt led by security caused the failure of the vault in 2078, where the sole survivor emerged 210 years after the vault sealed. So you had two vaults. You did very well in your first choice. You got frozen and murdered in your second choice. But boys, thank you for playing. Pick your vault.
Pick your vault.
Hopefully we'll
pick your
vault.
Hopefully next year you'll have better luck.
I'll be dead.
Yeah, you're very much dead. Brandon over on Facebook. In my head canon,
Brandon, what is up?
I choose to believe that each vault has a Lear doppelganger, but each with a very specific style of mustache.
They should be so lucky.
We got our friend
Brandon.
over on Twitch. Kit Crash is back.
Twitch, yes.
Compliments to Lear on his performances. Davey, if they're doing the new Vegas location next season, we'd love to see his character somehow find his way to those beautiful casinos.
Write some fan letters, you guys. I
Yeah,
tried to get my Aunt Augusta in Kenosha, Wisconsin, to get her prayer group. Who's the old guy with the big nose and the mustache? He's so cute. So yeah, send a note to Amazon.
I love it.
Let's do it.
Inquiring mothers want to know, Lear.
Oh,
The Wasteland is a terrible and scary place. I'm going to rewrite her question a little bit.
You're in trouble.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
don't
Nobody
change
edits
mom's
on
word.
mother.
Do you think you would be able to survive in the Wasteland? Now, again, having been fortunate enough to see you perform now on the silver screen, but also, of course, on stage.
Yeah.
I know that you kind of are a go with the flow fella, right? So
Yes,
I
sir.
think you would do very well. I think you have the stature of a man who's respected. I think you find your way to one of those towns.
I can
And
attest.
I think you earn some caps, maybe with some of them beautiful teeth. You get some caps to get your business started. I think you're doing well, but what do you think? I personally think I'm dead day one. I make it to the guy who's putting sand in his water
we all think
purifier.
that.
That's hurtful.
Charlie is wearing a diaper, shoving sand
Yep.
into the water filter.
That's me, just hoping
Day
just
one, I
a
think.
gorgeous Vault
I
fellow
think
wants to
day
marry.
one is generous.
But
Yeah,
that's a classic example of the lines that they throw in there every once in a while, where Lucy says, "Have you?" He goes like, "Only sand comes out." She goes, "Have you tried water?" And stuff like, "I interrogated the prisoner." Yeah, and he showed me his butthole. I mean, that was my second day on set. And I'm going, what the hell kind of show is this?
What have I stumbled into?
They love the thing. What would what if I got out to the wasteland, out to the surface? Well, if my nose fell off, that's fine, as long as my mustache didn't fall off.
What a good look.
I don't ever want to see a unmustachioed duel. I just don't want. I just don't want to see it. What's the point?
Yeah, it's just they have the technology.
So yeah, so Mr. Leary himself,
yes, sir,
goes into a relatively typical. I know that doesn't exist, but like a meat and potatoes type of vault.
76.
What do you think your experience is going to be? Are you going to rebel? Are you going to kind of like, are you going to piss on the fence? Are you going to chafe under the authority? Are you going to start a hockey league?
Oh
Or do you
yeah.
think you'll just, kind of acquiesce, play along? What do you think Lear would look like in the vault?
Me personally, yeah, I would love to have a rink inside the vault, but
They've
uh,
got the square footage.
Sure.
that's for sure. As Davy's character is called Davy Vault Scholar, so I certainly would want to teach them Shakespeare and teach them the
When they're
past.
ready,
Yeah,
Marlowe.
Marlowe. Well, then Marlowe's pretty
When they
violent,
can
and I
hack
thought
it.
I could just imagine trying to throw Marlowe down the Raiders' throat. Um, uh, I just I like yeah, I'm you can see that I'm pretty content there. Although some of these Reddit strings and comments and things like that, they have me going into 31 and rescuing Norm. They have me rebelling. It's interesting storylines, all of which say season 2 to me. But so I'm sitting by the phone like a schoolboy waiting for hoping for a prom date. Going, I've already said to my manager, I said, Ingrid, if they make an offer, take it. Don't negotiate. Just take it. So, but that's,
And rightfully so.
I would if I got out to the surface, I'd immediately look for your mom. That's right, because she's very nice, and Charlie keeps changing her
She would
words.
survive.
She's got a very good digital presence.
That's true.
We'll give her
Yeah.
that.
I read a really good Reddit theory that Davy was also unfrozen.
Yeah,
That
I've
like
seen that
you're
one
the
too.
backup. Like if okay, yeah, next in line should shit go down,
Right.
which is why you were moved into the other vault. So the
Whoa.
theory I read is like, don't fucking. One person was like, this fucking Davy guy. I don't know about him. They're
Right.
very trusting, and like you always, what they brought up was that Davy kind of, the way the episodes break down, it's really not till shit pops off that Davy's like, hello. And, it's you're at the wedding, but you're not much. Next thing you know, you're captain in the middle of it when we kind of finish up the vault arc. So they like instantly convinced me that I'm like, this fucking Davy's throwing out on me.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Every consequential vault moment, Davy is there.
Yeah, but
Davy is right
once
there.
someone's kidnapped, because preceding that, it's like,
Yeah. Davy's like the substitute teacher's
yes.
Like, come on, be sick. Come on, this is flu season.
And I won't
Maternity leave.
Put me in, coach.
I won't put you on the spot for it because that's like wildly unfair. But someone was like, there was like Uncle Davy energy to Lucy. Like when she's leaving the vault, you're like, you get back here, young lady.
But Davy was absolutely, it takes a village.
Sure.
Davy,
he was like, stop making out with your cousin.
The collaborative.
You're too old for that shit.
The collaborative raising of a bomb thief.
I'm just saying, Reddit. Reddit might be onto something. I think that's a great. Maybe
rarely, but you never know.
We can only hope that there's been no cast announcements. Obviously, Walt and Ella and Aaron, they've got to be there. I've been communicating with Pemberton, but not. We're all just waiting. We're just hoping.
That must be.
I can't imagine.
Where does that fall on the ANSI meter?
Oh, it's got to be top.
Yeah, it's awkward because we pretty much wrapped, and then we went out on strike, and then AI came along and killed a lot of the voiceover business. So my wife and I have been eating peanut butter and ramen noodles for about a year. So this came along at just the right time, and we'll see what happens. If nothing else, like you guys said, I'm part of this history, and it is history because it's just exploded. I get texts and emails from Dusseldorf and from the Czech Republic and things like that, friend requests and stuff, and it's perfectly lovely. I got an autograph request and appearing at conventions and stuff. I'm doing this tomorrow. Go ahead.
No, that's what I wanted to ask you about. Like that, this upcoming convention season must your dance card must be punched
It,
up one side
it's
and down the
it's
other.
starting to get there. I mean, there's
Yes.
one in Orlando, Eric Estrada, Alice Cooper, and Davey.
Yes.
Who?
I got
What?
Yes.
But Friday, I said tomorrow, but Friday, I'm on Irish national radio doing this the drive time in the afternoon.
Ah, that's
So I guess
awesome.
they think I'm a card carrying, flaming Irish American that's going to take over the vault
You
and
know,
put the shamrock
I like it.
there instead of change the colors to
That's where it
green.
works for me.
between
Yeah,
Fallout and Deirdre, I can understand. You know, sometimes the resume speaks volume.
definitely.
That's so outstanding. Have you been to conventions like prior?
Yes, the RoboCop years.
Oh,
Interestingly enough, RoboCop 3 is Bobby Burke from East
mhm.
Northport. Uh,
Right.
and then we crisscrossed on Black Klansman. That's a funny story.
Amazing.
We're having lunch, and Bobby goes, "Hey, Lear, your driver's here." I said, "Bobby, you know I live in Greenlawn. I don't have a driver. I can't get into Brooklyn at any reasonable time. I'd have to take a train, then a subway, then a walk." And he goes, "No, your driver's here." And I turn around, and it's Adam Driver. So
Amazing.
he goes, "Can I sit here with you guys?" I went, "Oh, sure."
I'll kick it
So,
around, I guess.
and what a nice man he is. He talked
I
about
mean,
when he's in the Marines, he separated his sternum. I said,
What?
"Adam, I've bruised my ribs playing hockey, and I thought I was going to die. I can't even
Yeah.
imagine my sternum being." He goes, "Well, yeah, it was a little hard sleeping." I went, "Please,
You
sleeping?"
think?
Yeah,
that seems like the most Adam Driver response
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
that's a good point too.
But
Like,
then he went to
busts out his fucking
Juilliard.
lightsaber.
He went to Juilliard, and he said there's the same mentality of teamwork, and when it's humming.
Mhm.
Let's see, Kit Kat. On a side note, if James Gunn doesn't have Jim Gordon Cassian, I did play James, not even Commissioner Gordon, because there's a new mayor in this series that I did called Nightwing, and the first thing he does is he puts Lieutenant Gordon back out on the beat. So, but that's funny.
This
Thank you
What
entire
for
this entire stream is definitely gonna kill. I thought that the Jay and Bob Stash cast was gonna hurt you. This one's gonna kill
Well,
you.
but so
This stream, say goodbye to Charlie.
So I don't remember if I mentioned it last time you were on, Lear.
Yeah.
But that Nightwing series was so bootlegged in my like early convention days, because with the charity work I do, we do a lot of conventions. So
Oh,
the
geez.
fact that like the Gordon from, I must have 30 copies of that, because every now and then people like take whatever, they like would exchange it for bobble. So that Nightwing series, they always would use a different frame of Nightwing for the cover.
Crazy.
So I didn't know if it was the same one or not. So I have to like dig a couple of those up to have you sign them, because the convention circuit, I'm just gonna find your schedule and just start like, you guys want Ghostbusters there? Just so I can be the booth next to you, just staring the whole time lovingly.
You might have 30 copies of that, but I've got one copy of Killjoy gifted
That's true.
by Mr. Lear. You might know him as Davey Leary.
Yeah.
It's just so exciting that we live in such a nerd society.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
Where it's not only a matter of fact, it's an undeniable fact. Davey on a banner at a convention,
Oh yeah,
is getting attention. I can imagine
they're gonna
the
wear
pull-up
a path,
banner now.
They're gonna wear a path on the carpet to get to you. Never mind
Silent
the fact
Hill,
that you're like
Fallout, RoboCop. Not it just like it's
one of
absurd.
the easiest guys to pop, like that there is in conversation history. You're gonna be a popular fella, 100%. You know, though, Kristen asked a really good question. I don't know if we scrolled by early on, but because the truth of the matter is, I think you understand fandoms and these fans that you're developing, because you're a fan of like, you're a passionate man. So Kristen asks for those those who are listening.
Suckers.
I often forget about them. No offense, folks. But Christian
He means
asks,
some offense.
every artist has dream projects. To the panel, which consists of Lear. Who would you drop everything to work with, whether it be a particular director or franchise? Because you love deep.
Yeah. So Christian, of course, would want to use the Thomas the Tank Engine. And he says, "Watch me make the next Princess Bride." I knew I was gonna do it. It's gonna be
Yeah.
our boy Christian.
Yeah, Christian has a
Bum,
very
bum,
real
bum, bum,
possibility
bum, 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 diddle, diddle, diddle. Just before we go, you guys, you brought up a good point. The the line that sticks out in my head is Lucy when she turns to the ghoul and she goes, "Golden rule, MF." I mean, I thought that would be a perfect T-shirt, because
Absolutely.
100%.
I mean that's the essence of this whole thing this whole trip that we're on. And but was that Christian who said, who would you
Christian,
drop
yeah.
everything for?
Yeah.
Who would you want to work for, or what franchise work with?
Heidi Klum.
Hard to go
I don't care.
wrong.
I can't sew,
Hard
but
to
be-
go wrong.
but
That's probably for the best.
no. That's a tough one.
Do you have one in your head while Lear thinks, John?
Yeah.
Do I personally have
Yeah.
one? I've got about 57, and most of my elevator pitches are exactly that because I've cast myself in every single one of them. What about you?
If James Gunn, we have your Gordon, and he's doing such a wide universe.
Oh boy.
With the Supergirl movie coming out in 2026, I want to be the bouncy boy. It's like the only fat guy in spandex in all of DC. Let him be like a cool bearded version, kicking because Supergirl a lot of times is hangs out with Brainiac,
Right.
the good Brainiac from the future. So what if I'm the dude hitting on her while she's hitting on Brainiac? I don't need to get the girl. I just need to be in the fight.
Yeah, but these are not documentaries. These are fictional.
Yeah, but I would still get to know them.
Yeah, that's a good.
Or I could be Matter Eating Lad, also a chubster.
Well, yeah, he's got a.
But Bouncing Boy's he's a big boy.
Glandular
And just
issue.
it would be so fun to have a Legionnaire ring.
Yeah.
'Cause that's one of those things I instantly ruined my career. I run out the building with it.
You're also jewelry.
I am kind of a jewelry, shockingly a jewelry guy. Plus, that's a twofer because getting to work on a project that would have a Superman S in it and to work under James Gunn in some way, that really is both dreams.
That's fair. That's fair.
You really met something that I was so passionate about. You're like, well, that's a shit answer, but we'll move on.
We'll try again. Did you come up with something there?
Samuel Jackson, Patrick Stewart, maybe I'm trying to think. Maybe Helen Mirren or Laura Linney. I don't why those names just popped into my head. I don't know why.
I mean,
just what I would love to embrace
sounds
them
like a
and
tremendous
just
project already.
Yeah, just Amy Adams. No,
in my head for some reason that's a motorcycle movie.
It
That's
could be.
they're just going on they were a crew.
little
Just
Sturgis action.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I don't know why I popped in my head that way. I just think those with fucking motorcycles. It's all informed by the stash, and we got to get Sam Jackson the curse. So I feel like the path is
that probably won't be that much of a challenge.
Get him a vet.
No, he could read the phone book and drop a few F-bombs.
Not for anything, Lear. But the fact of the matter is, with those name drops, it's going to cost us some money.
That's true.
So let's pay some bills really, really quickly, and then we're going to jump right back into it. If you can still hang out with us before the streetlights come on, and you have to go home. So Charlie, why don't you tell the good people how we do the financial thing we do?
That's true. Well, the good thing is we're not like all these other pods who sell out for some random brand that's willing to throw us a couple shekels.
Any of them.
Today we are brought to you by our good friends over at Vault-Tec. Vault-Tec, what could go wrong?
Safety first.
Vault-Tec. We're also brought to you by one of our apps. Oh, there it is.
Sorry.
Speaking of that beautiful music, no, hit it. One of our absolute favorite bands. We should cover this. They should really do me a favor.
We gotta send the text.
And that, of course, is Bad Mary Band. You can follow. You heard them through the intro, rather. You're going to hear them again at the end of the show. If you're anywhere else, you can catch their act. You can follow them at Bad Mary Band across all social media platforms. You can support them over on patreon.com/BadMaryBand. You can stay up to date. BadMary.com for merch and upcoming performances. But my favorite part about them is you can find their entire discography across all music streaming platforms.
Hell yeah. You did not answer, though, that one question. Where are we dropping with Sergeant Finesse? Big time gamer. He's actually amping up his game time once again.
Oh, baby.
He does a lot of COD, but you know what? Maybe we gotta talk the boy into playing a little bit of Fallout, and you know, it's out there for a reason. Just Sergeant Finesse doing it to it all the time. Also, as well as on Twitch, we have Jokers_stream_. Another dynamite gamer. Both these guys do a great job, and they really show us how lousy we are at video games, but that's okay.
That's true.
It's still very fun. I did want to do this, Lear, and we, you know, for those who aren't in the biz like we are, we always do a little pre-interview with the getting to know you or getting back, you know, getting to catch up. And one of the things that we talked about really, probably longer than we should have in the pre-show, was how dynamic, how memorable, and how important this show's soundtrack was. I have to imagine it's got to be 95% or greater that the people seeing the show are hearing these songs. Got to be for the first time.
Yeah,
it's got to be for the first time.
I mean, I'll throw myself under the bus. Like that, there was a couple having played Fallout, having seen a lot of people. This is some of these tracks were pulled right out of fan films, right out of like fan pitches. But what was really amazing for me was getting to experience that music with such care and precision used, because you could just needle drop.
The application, though, the way that they were used was as fantastic as the source material itself. So when you're filming, Lear, as opposed to when you're watching the series just as a viewer, well, in the filming process, were you guys aware, guys and gals, aware of any of the backing tracks that were gonna aid your storytelling, or did you see it, hear it rather for the first time watching the show?
Right. First of all, Kit and Christian have some nice comments there. Thanks, you guys. It flashed across the bottom of the screen while you're doing your promo. But I was familiar with the. I was familiar
Sam Jackson, Lear Leary, the next Tarantino movie. What would be the last Tarantino movie? Let's effing go.
I think it's only appropriate.
I heard when you work with Lear, though, you always want to work with him again. Yeah. So maybe we get 2 more Tarantino movies.
Speaking for myself, I can confirm that.
I'm
sorry, Lear. What were you saying?
No, we alluded to it before in the terms of me walking past my sons playing the game and being totally in love with some of that orchestration stuff, and then all of a sudden I would hear the ink spots, and I'm going, I know it from my youth because my older sisters and or parents listened to that music, and I thought, wow, they're using that tune in a hip, 2000 game. I mean, what's going? It was a big, in hindsight, it's a big chance they took. I mean, because it would be very easy for the younger people to go, oh, this is old people junk. I mean, it'd be like us listening to Rudy Valley. Is everybody happy? My time is your time. Like, oh my goodness, put me to sleep, put me to death. But the placement, as you know from editing and things like that, once they start adding sound effects, that big cog when Lucy's leaving the vault, I mean, just basically moved almost in silence, but we knew that it was going to be grunts and rust falling off and metal clanking, so that when you see a scene with all of a sudden the sky is turning a different color because of the bomb, and all of a sudden this song comes on and goes, under an orange sky. I mean, it was a perfect placement. Somebody was very hip to all those old tunes, and I don't want to set the world on fire, but you did.
Did not happen on accident.
Go there with you. I just want to be. No, but to answer your question, no, they did not have that playing in the background so that we could. They didn't even have music while I was dancing with Lexi, the
What a
cutie.
nice surprise, though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
like
that
the
is-
the fact that these finishing touches were all handled so masterfully. It really was at times a masterclass
It was.
in
Yeah.
how to
You know
respect a property
what it
that's
was?
easy to kind of take a piss on.
The obligatory analogy. It was like you knew there was going to be a soundtrack. You knew that something was going to be happening behind you
Yeah.
as you danced or fought or survived. So it's like you have a great dinner, and then you don't order a specific dessert. You just say, "I'll take one dessert, please," and then what they come out with is like the greatest, chocolate cake or
Yeah.
like whatever ends up being your fancy. Like, oh, my compliments to the chef. That was a very good
Yeah.
choice. I don't know how they could have possibly done made it better choices musically than they did. Music is so important, and they knocked it out of the park.
I think what again, just I went into my first viewing unaware that you were in it. So when you showed up, I was
It was like,
obviously stoked.
He did one of these. We
With
you
that
know,
being said,
Jonah Nolan said, "Gee, Charlie, can you give me a little less of a reaction?"
Take it
I-
down a little bit.
just in case she's actually asking, I can.
Awooga.
As many times I was one of the people. I think on this show we discussed it. I was so excited for the Fallout series, but I was among the people incredibly nervous because we have again, to not to kick it all the way to Max, but The Last of Us was such a surprise to me because when I heard they were doing that adaptation, I went, well, there's no way. There's no way you respect it in its silly moments. There's no way for that particular show. There's a character who kind of reads terrible jokes, and I'm like, well, you cut that. That's too hard to perform. That's too hard to do in something that takes itself seriously. When they then offer that up for Fallout, I go impossible. It's impossible because they've tried. The boring person makes this a show about a singular vault dweller. A bad producer says we have to push Brotherhood of Steel. A bad business partner says we have to play hit music. To wind up getting a team together that's going to respect it, appreciate it, and elevate it. And I don't know if that's because that Bethesda chick was always there. I don't know if it's because they cast it the right way. They found people who they said, okay, who's going to be the best at this? There wasn't a Bethesda quiz. There wasn't a hey, tell me your favorite. They approached it.
I think one of the hardest things that they accomplished was
I would have blown it. I would have blown it. Rude.
They didn't make it mandatory that you were like a professor level, now have professor level knowledge of the source material. Someone could have come in like day one, like a 101 class, and enjoyed it as completely as someone who did have a doctorate in all of the lore. And I think that's one of the most difficult things to accomplish, especially for something like that where it's outstanding storytelling, and following the story from A to Z is as enjoyable as anything else. But on the same token, you still catch these snippets. Again, a lot of your comedic moments, I think, fed into that also. Where like, oh, I see what they're doing there. Like they take the piss out of moments. Like this is satire in points in the
Right.
best possible way, but they're also telling us a great, epic journey story. They're just accomplishing so many things, and I think probably not the least of that is just pitch perfect casting. Lear, you were truly one of the most enjoyable components of a tremendously, maybe the single most enjoyable piece of entertainment that has come across eyeballs in a long time.
Wow.
A long time.
Jeez.
It's true. It's true.
Okay.
Honestly, the last question that I'll have for you, and there might be more to come, but you have half as much fun making it as we did watching
Oh, without a doubt, or with oot a doot, as relatives would say. Yeah, it was. It was just fun being there, and then appreciated. given a second chance if you blow the interpretation or the line. It was embracing. Jonah was in charge, and he's a no nonsense director. He knows what he wants. If he gets it, he's not going to beat it to death. I mean, I've been on sets where take 13, take 14, and all right, we'll go with take 1. You know, he's not that type. He looks for it. He watches everything, and he goes, okay, let's move on. I don't know how else to say. It was just a pleasure. And
I'm so glad to hear that. Really, because the worst thing in the world, I think somebody accomplishes a feat of greatness and like, wow, that was really a pain in my ass. It was brutal every day. Like, you know what? I'm enjoying it less now. Keep some shit to yourself.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that truly you enjoy that process, because really,
no, I'm sure Ella,
watching it.
I'm sure Ella and Aaron and Walton and Johnny had some pretty nasty hot days out there in Namibia and stuff like
Suckers.
that. But none of to a person, and that includes makeup person, sound guy. No, there were no hissy fits, no attitudes, no temper tantrums, no anger. And there was some yelling, but that just meant we got to keep moving. We're burning daylight type of mentality. We were possessed. We had the task. We knew that there were going to be major critical eyes, and just had to be true to the story and believe it.
You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. Charlie, final thought?
My final thought is it's so interesting to be on this side, just because personally, obviously, I always root for you. But it was very interesting. I'm really grateful I wasn't aware you were in it until I saw you in it, because there was people online who were so aggressively rooting against the show. I think unfortunately,
they prove wrong quickly.
The wild world of social media is, it's a fake one. They think that what's going to get them the clicks is saying like, well, the first few pictures drop, looks like they're heading in the wrong direction, and then it comes out and it's so undeniable in its quality that I've never seen so many people take John's advice and shut up
like
so quickly, because again,
I'll sit down and watch this.
Not to belabor the point, but you look at this cast, Ella Purnell, just home run after home run. Walter Goggins keeps Uncle Baby Billy keeps just redefining his level of greatness. Aaron Clifton coming out of from my experience, I'm like, oh great, another guy who's just amazing. Moses, Kyle Macklin, John Pemberton, Sarita Chaudhry, Leslie Uggams, El Verdes, Zelly, I always mess up the pronunciation, but Celia Mendez Jones, Cameron Cabaret, Dale Dickey, who shows up for, I believe, only one episode. It's just like, I'm just going to hit a couple grand slams real quick. If everyone could just everyone get on base. I'm just going to come in.
I appreciate it.
Zach Cherry, who I love everything he's in, but a chubby guy in a Vault Dweller suit, always doing with my heart. Asa Kendrick. Everywhere you look,
it's a murderer's row.
It is
of talent. It really is.
One of my favorite things to say is being undeniable is always the goal. It's one thing to execute. It's one thing to execute well. But when everyone works in unison, when everyone brings their A game, it's how you get to an undeniable case. And I think Kit Crash over on Twitch, he says it beautifully. Congratulations, Lear, for your excellent work in Fallout. He hopes it brings you more success in the future. In my opinion,
the visibility is just
there it is.
So well deserved.
We need that new 8x10 of you doing the pose.
Oh yeah.
Because right there, that's a convention
Can
exclusive.
you just imagine Vault Boy, but just with a full lustrous
Can I imagine her draw it
mustache?
tonight?
Ellis,
hold
get to
on.
work on that. And
Hold
you know,
on one
Lear, I think I've made it very, very clear, not just of my affinity for the show and the franchise and the material, but
Yeah.
that is
Amazing.
You know,
epic.
a man of my age
That's
and
epic.
in that suit and holding the thumb up, they were calling me they're calling me Vault Pop. You know, like, are you Vault Boy's grandfather? Yes, I am. Doggone it, I
Damn
am.
straight.
I think we have a new
What
wiki
do you think
entry.
he came
Vault
from nowhere? But yeah, literally, again, I'm like, I love the character so much, and obviously love you so much, and could not be happier for this visibility. I mean, you've every pitch you see, you hit it out of the park. So your success in the material doesn't surprise me even for a hot second. What surprised me honestly is that it's taken many people this long to really acknowledge it. So I'm gonna leave
Thank you.
the last thought to you, Lear. Again, this has been a fantastic, fantastic episode. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well,
It's
thanks for
always our pleasure.
thanks.
But yeah, we're please, we're gonna give you the last thought. I mean, it's your experience, your again, Vault Pop. You don't try to step on Vault
Sorry,
Pop's
I
toes. So
shouldn't have planted that seed. That's for sure.
no, we're
But
gonna
Well, not at
hashtag
the
that.
end of the show. I would have changed your name.
We're
I
hashtagging
would
Yeah.
have
that
had merch
immediately.
ready.
Patent pending,
Right,
copywritten.
Vault Pop
trademark.
LLC.
Vault Pop.
So
Uh,
hit us with the outro. You know, what did it mean to you? What are you looking forward to? You know, take us home in the best of your way.
uh, it was like a master class standing there and watching the other people. You mentioned Sarita. She's Moldova, and she talking with her, and she's perfectly lovely and very, very soft spoken. And then when it came to her scene, and she's walking into 33 from 32, and she's so focused, it was intense. It was like, who is that person? I was just talking to a perfectly lovely earthling over here, and that's an invading creature over there. The from the moment of I can teach them Shakespeare on the little mini camera, send the file off to well, that's a wrap for Davey, and I was done for, and then now we just have to wait. It's just been, and then the reception of the people, like you say, because there's a lot of fear. And are they going to do it justice? Are they going to do it right? Is it going to be entertaining? Everything is just fallen into place, and you see it's the number one show in the world, and 2.5 billion minutes in the first day or two or something like that of viewing, and you go, oh my god! And Amazon's happy, Mr. Bezos is happy, and he's tough to please. And everybody is it's going now. I just and then getting the chance to talk with you guys again. This is this is a dream come true, and this is the business is such where it's like this. It's ramen noodles and peanut butter, and then it's here's the camera, filet mignon. It's going out and buying a Land Rover for cash, or driving a 7-year-old Kia with a fender that's sticking up in the air. So and I've been blessed with a family and a spouse who doesn't complain. We're here on the ride, and it's what's the saying? Paul Coelho says, "Desire something, and the universe will conspire to help you achieve it," which is a pretty interesting little thing. So this is something I've always wanted, and it's getting there. Ever since 5th grade, when Sister Mary Hitler said, "Who wants to be the dancing, singing pilgrim in the Thanksgiving pageant?" And I went, I could do that. And I got out there and I'm singing. I don't know if I was Ben Franklin or whatever, out there singing in the pageant. And I went, this is what I want to do. This is it. Seeing the audience. That's amazing. So now that's from that.
That's a gift. Knowing the road that you want to take for as long as the wheels stay on. That's just a natural gift. Lear, again, thank you so much. If you
Thanks.
have the time, hang out through the song, and we'll wrap up. But Charlie,
I mean, now that I've been hit with fucking wisdom,
yeah,
that I
like
like the
heart
timing
bombs,
of
like
that was just
oof.
beautiful. I really appreciate that. But there is only one way that we end each and every episode of US Comics. Believe it or not, this first step is a secret step. We always thank Lear for being a part of the experience.
Always.
But the first official step, John, I'm going to tell them how to do it. If you could show the beautiful people. First, you got to turn the volume on. Then you got to tune Ben Marion, open the window wide and scream out into the night sky. Save Miss Face Girl. We out.